score, and you need to be able to adjust the game accordingly, because I think a lot of the time in T20 we get preempted maybe with our ideas, and it's about hitting the ball to the boundary all the time, and sometimes that's not always the best way. So having an open mind, practicing your strengths to use them to create an innings of impact would be, I think, something that's important.
Yeah, true. And Kane, playing late, which something you do really, really well. Is this something that comes naturally to you, or do you practice of playing late?
Yeah, look, I don't think it comes naturally, but certainly if you get in enough conditions where the ball seams and swings a lot, then bringing the hitting zone back a bit, I think can help, but doesn't always. As we know, you can get some good balls and you can play late, and it may not be enough, but I think it can help in some ways, and can allow you to perhaps make those later judgments. But I don't think it's something natural. I just think it's something that I'm always trying to improve on when it's required. But when you play in Bangladesh and some other countries, sometimes playing late isn't as helpful. So it's just trying to adapt.
Yeah, you probably look to play as much forward as you can in Bangladesh, especially.
I think so, and thanks for the tip.
No. Now, Ken, I was speaking to Faf. This is we're going back to 2015, and then I was speaking to him, especially that game that when New Zealand qualified for the final. He told me one thing, that especially our subcontinent teams can get emotional in grounds, because we normally are emotional people, but you don't see those kind of things from South Africa. They try to be very tough, doing this, but after that game, I remember each and everybody was very emotional. There were tears in their eyes and everything. But I wanted to know, I'm sure your dressing was something else. They were happy, they were cheering. But if you can let me go through a little bit regarding that game, what happened? You were in the dressing room. What were you were talking? I know about a little incident, because me and Grant Elliott are quite good. We are good mates to each other. I remember Grant Elliott had a message after the game. I'm not sure this is the right platform to tell about all this, but if you can little bit go through about that game and what happened back in dressing room, so people can know about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredibly exciting game. Obviously, to have a World Cup in your home country is something special, and naturally you'll get a heap of support, and playing in that stadium, it's a small ground, and the crowd kind of sits on top of you a bit, so the atmosphere was amazing. And South Africa I remember, get off to a steady start, and then they rebuilt, and I remember I think it was Faf and AB started gaining some real momentum, and on that ground, you've played on it at Eden Park. Such small boundaries can score really quickly, and as you know, AB, one of the most gifted players that we've ever seen, when he's going, nobody can stop him, and he started really to get going, and then the rain came, and it rained for a period of time, and then their innings came to an end, and I don't. The revised target might have been, was it 290 or something? I think they were on 260. I think a lot of the initial work that we're able to do helped with that score perhaps being much more achievable than what someone like AB can do. If he keeps going, it can turn into anything, and especially on a ground like that. So I do think we're fortunate in that respect, but I guess such is life, and the weather came, and then 290, and it's still a tough chase on any surface, and against such a great side that of South Africa, and we knew that they were there with really high hopes, and they had a brilliant team, and we were similar in terms of, we got off to, I think, a pretty good start. I think Brendan, did he get quite a few? I sort of 50 maybe quickly. and which he did almost every game. And then we lost a few wickets, and then I think Corey Anderson and Grant Elliott put on a partnership, which took us kind of to some of those later moments. And I mean, it's one of those games, and obviously going right down to the wire. Then in a lot of ways, I was very fortunate to watch pretty much the whole thing because I only faced a handful of deliveries. So you end up riding the emotion of the game rather than being focused and playing it. And so it's just so exciting, and the atmosphere was electric, and to win it in that fashion was pretty amazing. So naturally, the guys were pretty excited after the result, but also as we've seen on occasions like that, when things can go either way, and when they do fall your way, you obviously respect the opposition and everything that they did to provide such an amazing fixture for people to be a part of. And we were fortunate to be on the right side of the result.
Yeah, it was a great match. I still remember. I keep on watching it on YouTube. And that six of last over was something special. From
Yeah, exactly.
There's
you
one
guys
thing
were
that
close
sorry?
to getting through to the. You guys.
Yeah. I think we played the quarterfinals against India.
That's right.
Yeah, and then and
you
then
beat England.
Yes, we beat England.
Beat England, and then
and we were a very close game with you as well in Hamilton.
Yeah,
we played a very tight game.
Yeah, Shakib. Oh, Mahmudullah 100.
Mahmudullah 100. Yeah, Mahmudullah got 100. Yeah. It was a good game. I think Team Saudi came in and smashed few sixes and took the game over from us.
Yeah. Good game.
It was a good game. Regarding Kane, I wanted to talk to you about one thing that was a build-up just before the 2019 World Cup, because England was playing so well, and there were scores touching 350 to 400 pretty much every game. And I remember people were talking about, you have to score at least 320, 330 to have a chance in the World Cup to do well. But New Zealand was one team who actually who actually scored once more than 250 in the entire tournament, and still went to play the World Cup final. You knew about this?
No, not going into the tournament, but much like you mentioned that everybody expected the scores to be so high, assuming the pitches would be what they were. But as we know, the pitches weren't the same as the bilateral series that they'd been having, and they were, I think, a really good balance between bat and ball throughout the whole tournament, which made for some really good viewing. And there was so many close matches against all different sides, and I do think that was down to the surfaces. And from our team's perspective, it was trying to adapt as quickly as possible, because they were varying so much from venue to venue, and also, I guess, having an understanding that you could always be in the game, because the wickets did offer a little bit to the bowlers, whether sometimes it spun or sometimes it swung and seamed a little bit. And then as a batting unit, if you could try and soak up some of that pressure and take an innings a little bit longer to get 240, 250, then you would always be competitive. And I think that was a strength of ours in the tournament. But we had a number of really close games, and once again, in tournament sport, high pressured situations, and it's always great that if you can win some of those close ones, then that goes a long way. Obviously, they're helping your causes down the end of the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Ken, this is just me. I wanted to know, as because I'll probably lead Bangladesh in ODI. It's 2019 World Cup final. I don't want to take you what exactly happened, what not. I wanted to know because you were the captain, you were making the decisions, and then if you have a game like that, it's very hard to digest. But I wanted to know, how do you overcome that situation? What was going through your mind after the game, and then how do you overcome it? And then you have to speak in front of the in front of the team, because you have the captain and you can't show weaknesses. I know people got emotional. I'm sure they all got emotional. But I just wanted to know, just as a captain, that how did you overcome all those situations?
I mean, it was interesting. Obviously, the tournament goes for 2 months, whatever, and it's intense, and guys are focused for long periods of time, and then to obviously get to the final and see it unfold the way it did was naturally tough to understand. Still don't think many people do understand it, but you have to accept it, and that's okay. And throughout the whole campaign, we certainly just wanted to improve from game to game and try and get a better feel for the surfaces. And it's tough, isn't it? You're always playing a different opposition every day, so it's not like a bilateral where you might learn a little bit more about someone else. So a lot of it is about the cricket that you want to play, and I think we were proud of that throughout the tournament. And as a captain, I was also proud of the way